Okay, my first video in a while since I broke my leg last year. Been kind of recuperating from that. Um, Picked up a new Smith Wesson Sigma SW9VE, and I've kind of had mixed feelings about these. Most because they're fairly cheap. You can pick them up anywhere from I've heard of them as cheap as $239. I've seen them $250. Some new, some used. Retail $369.99, I believe. It's empty. Nothing in there at all. First off, I like the new stylings on it. This new version does have a rail if you want to mount a light on it. This one's kind of going to be my beater gun slash home defense gun or backup for whatever, possibly for my fiance. Just something to be there. It's a 9mm. They do have a 40. This is the Smith & Wesson SW9VE. See if I can get that on there to zoom in without looking like crap. I'm trying to get the high definition to work correctly on my webcam. It's not working with crap. The webcam, not the gun. Gun actually fires kind of nice. First off, it was brand new when I bought it, and the trigger pull was absolutely atrocious. It wasn't really a really long trigger pull, but it just seemed like it was really kind of tough to get started, and that breaking point was just retardedly hard to get past. And what's really odd about this, especially compared to like my Glock, or Glocks I should say, or any other I've fired, striker fired weapons that I've had, that breaking point just doesn't seem to reset very pronounced, and you still got that spring pressure there. I've actually taken it apart, and I've done kind of a cheap, well, free spring mod. It's just really easy to take apart. I'll show you real quick. Trigger, of course, check, make sure it's empty, nothing in there. Pull the trigger, just like a Glock. You want to grab it like this, and there's tab on each side. It would be this tab right here. There's one on each side. Pull that back like this, just a little bit. Pull these two tabs down, while you're holding those down, slide it right off of the frame. And the trigger mod that I did, you actually have to remove these two, or this pin right here, and this assembly falls right out. There's a little bar on this side. It's this bar right there. And let's see if I can try to get a view of it here. If I move the trigger, I can get it to move around. Maybe not. But it's this bar here, and basically there's a notch right. Oh man, wish I had something reasonable like a Kershaw knife or something to kind of point this out. There's a locking piece right here in the pin, and basically you move the trigger rearward, it catches on that pin. There it is. That's a good way to show you. It catches right here. You can see it moving right there. That hook underneath, that catches, and when the slide comes back, this will go down and go underneath it to reset, and then the slide will come forward and this will come back and actually lock up underneath that and allow for the next shot to be fired. Well, there's your basics, or one of the springs there, which I didn't screw with at all. This spring here, there's a little what they call a pigtail spring that's in this assembly here. This, like I said, this whole assembly comes out right here after you remove this pin. I used a punch. I think it was a 3/32 punch, although you could use smaller if you want. You might want to if you want to try to push out the pins on the inside of the assembly. And there's two underneath this one here. One's an inner, one's an outer spring. And there's one in the back, which they call that pigtail spring. I took the pigtail spring completely out, and I took that outer spring from the two, one's an inner, one's an outer, and by that I mean there's a spring and then there's basically a smaller spring that goes through that one. So I believe the outer spring, the idea behind that was to stabilize it, but that spring and that that spring that's inside of it and that pigtail spring are just added things to make that trigger pull harder. And everybody that I've heard of after the Glock lawsuit with the Smith Wesson Sigma, their trigger pull's been between 8 and 12 pounds, and I've heard stories of people having a trigger pull of 16 pounds. And that's just crazy. I mean, my Glock I thought was kind of a heavy pull at 5.5 pounds because I really wanted to get like a 3.5 pound trigger pull for my Glock. But that was just nuts. I removed those two springs and it seems a lot more, a little more pronounced at the reset point in my personal opinion. And it just, that lighter pull is just a lot nicer. I unloaded, of course. Just kind of pull. It's just a more pronounced reset point for it. I wish the reset point was a little further back. I may end up sending it to Smith & Wesson to get repaired, or not really repaired, just modified to the point where it's more like what the Glock springs were, or the Glock trigger pull weight, I mean. Because Smith & Wesson does currently have a lifetime service warranty on all their handguns, I believe. And basically, you get a hold of them, you call them, you tell them that your trigger spring, your trigger pull is just so atrocious and long and heavy that it's actually affecting your accuracy, which it probably will. And they will send you a prepaid UPS or FedEx envelope and put your handgun in and mail it to them with their prepaid envelope, no cost to you or back, and they'll ship it right back to you. And from what I've heard, the trigger pull on the one you will receive for them is as good as it was before they made the modifications after the Glock lawsuit. And sorry, my cat's bothering me. That's really one of the only biggest thing that really bugs me about this. And for about half the price of a Glock, and yes, I love my Glocks. I love mine specifically, I suppose, just because it's mine. I've had it since it was brand new. I probably overpaid for it since I paid basically retail for it. But I had tax money at the time and just said screw it and bought it a couple years ago. Put maybe a couple thousand rounds through it, and it pretty much just stays glued to my hip all the time unless I'm sleeping, and then it's, you know, right behind my head whenever I can grab it and get ready. But regardless, I got a sweet deal on this. I have heard of them having some 17-round magazines for the Sigmas. There are models that come with the 10. The model Sigmas that start with the 2, I believe, have the 16-round mags, the new SW9VEs. I mean, and this one's like 220. I want to say 5464. I'm sure that's wrong, but it's 220 something. And this one, I don't know if somebody bought an extra one because I did buy it new. But it did come with two 16-round brand new Smith & Wesson magazines, which I thought was phenomenal. The magazines are pretty damn high quality, especially for a steel mag. For the striker fired polymer frame pistols, I've kind of been a fan of the polymer mags with the steel innards like the Glocks. But these are awesome. They're not considerably heavy. I don't have my scale in here. I can do another review if somebody's curious about it. And I can actually do another review if somebody wants to have me take it down and show you exactly what I did to get that light and trigger pull. It cost me absolutely nothing. I'm not exactly a gunsmith. I am a machinist, a CNC machinist or orthopedic machinist. I make bone plates, surgical tools, or whatever. The same crap's on my leg since I did break my leg in 13 places, crashing my crotch rocket last July. Anyways, it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to know much to do it. Just you can take a gun apart and clean it. You can pretty much do your trigger job. I don't think Smith Wesson really encourages that, and it's free just to take it and send it back to them, because they will send you a prepaid label and drop it in the UPS or FedEx place and just send it to them, and they'll modify it, do a certified trigger job on it, and send it right back. So that's really an awesome deal if they would do that. I haven't got a lot of time to shoot it yet. Shoots plus P ammo. I know it's a no-no. I've got loaded mags in here, but the Spear Gold Dots, that thing just, I love these. These are just reliable as hell. They are plus P, but I filled about a 3-gallon jug with water and shot it at a distance of about 15 feet. It just annihilated it. It was probably 16-inch diameter, maybe 18-inch diameter, and it just went in one side, out the other, and it might have left a hole about like that going in, just because it's plastic, and out going maybe like that, maybe from the pressure of the shockwave with a bullet going through it, and just split it wide open and just splattered water everywhere. It was instantly emptied, that thing. And it is a 4-inch barreled handgun. Oh, and it does take apart just like a Glock. I didn't take the slide apart at all to show anybody. It's got that block just like the Glock does, that safety. Guide rod comes up just like a Glock. The thing that is different than the Glock as far as that spring going back in is there's not really much of a U or a groove to go underneath there, so you kind of have to put it back in and just kind of line it up. Barrel comes out pretty fucking close to a Glock. It's very close to a Glock barrel. I don't know that they're interchangeable. I don't think they are. Actually, I know they're not, because I have tried it. At least with an SW9VE. I have not tried it with the 9VE yet, which is this handgun. And I may try it. It's fairly close to Glock 19 as far as dimensions are. It does have that 4-inch barrel, which is nice. It's kind of a large handgun, but you're still under 2 pounds for a loaded 9mm handgun with 16+1. So you can have a 17 round. And I'll keep my finger off the trigger, and I won't chamber this inside, obviously. But a 16+1 handgun for under $300. And in my case, 2 16-round magazines, and I have seen some 17s floating around. I haven't heard any good things about higher capacity ones, but I mean higher than that. The Smith Wesson brand ones obviously have got the best reviews from what I've heard. But I hate all the bashing on these. They're actually pretty nice. It fits in my inside the waistband holster made for my Glock 19, and I haven't really found a big choice of holsters for these. But if you like carrying a full-size handgun or want a beater gun to throw in your truck or throw on your nightstand, or if you get the SW9VE, you can get a light to mount on it, which is pretty nice for a home defense gun. For the price, you can't beat it. I mean, if you pick up a new one for $250, I mean, come on. What's a Kel-Tec PF9 or P11? I mean, you're going to spend about $240, $250, and you're going to get a 7+1 or a 10+1 handgun that's really small and has that really long double action only pull on it. And I actually prefer striker fired weapons a little better. Oh, my cat's in here bugging me again. Say hi. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi. Okay, she wants down. But I would recommend it. I mean, it's not one of the best handguns I've had or fired, but I got it brand new, got a smoking deal on it because they're just affordable. I would definitely recommend this, even if it's a first handgun to carry or whatever. Put some decent ammo in it. I'm sure it'll fire standard ammo. If it'll fire hollow points, it should fire about anything. I haven't really seen anything that I really have to improve on except for the trigger pull. I just did not like the trigger pull. Other than that, it's great. I know some people that like that long trigger pull, and they like that. Or they shoot big double action revolvers all the time and shoot at double action, and they want that long trigger pull, or for whatever reason, safety, I have no idea. I like mine a little lighter, and I like being able to pop off a bunch of shots at once if I have to with a semi-automatic. That's just me. But all in all, I like the gun. It's nice. Good job, Smith & Wesson. Good job on keeping improving it. They did copy off Glock a lot. That's why they get sued. If you want that Glock feel, the trigger back, modify it yourself, or better yet, just send it to Smith & Wesson. Let them do it. They made it. They guarantee it. They warranty it. It's free. Just go that route. Or if you want to do it yourself, somebody can comment and request me to upload what I did, how to take it apart. I'll try to be as detailed as possible and try to get a high quality zoom in of all the parts, what I'm doing, and try to talk it through. So that's about it. Don't really have anything to show as far as targets for accuracy, but it pretty much shot as well as I could. Thanks. Have a nice night.